When you truly understand what it means to be a son of God, your entire perception of life transforms. For many, this phrase might sound lofty, distant, or even abstract, yet it is the very essence of who you are. It is not something to earn, nor a title to aspire to, but the undeniable reality of your being. To awaken to this truth is to awaken to your own divinity. To live as a son of God is to know that fear holds no dominion over you. The anxieties, doubts, and insecurities that so often plague the mind lose their power when one recognizes that nothing outside of you can define your worth. You are not the victim of circumstance, nor the prisoner of external conditions. You are in your very nature free. This freedom is not merely physical, it is spiritual, mental, and emotional. It is a freedom that allows you to live from the eternal, rather than the temporal, perspective. When you begin to truly understand what it means to be a son of God, the first revelation that unfolds is the recognition of your innate divinity. This is not something that is given to you by achievement, education, or status. It is the essential truth of your being. Each person is a reflection of the infinite, an expression of the limitless spirit that permeates all life. To see yourself in this way is to awaken from the illusion that your worth or identity is defined by external circumstances, the opinions of others, or the roles you play in society. Innate divinity is not a concept to grasp intellectually, it is a reality to experience within. When you tune into this awareness, you begin to perceive life not as a series of random events or challenges, but as the manifestation of an orderly, intelligent, and loving source expressing itself through you. Living from this understanding transforms the way you view yourself. You no longer see yourself as separate, weak, or inadequate. Every thought, every action, every choice becomes infused with a sense of sacred responsibility because you recognize that your life is an expression of divine intelligence. This awareness naturally dissolves feelings of unworthiness or self-doubt, because they are seen as illusions created by the mind, not reflections of your true nature. You begin to act and respond from a place of wholeness, knowing that the power to create, heal, and uplift already resides within you. The recognition of innate divinity also changes the way you relate to others and the world around you. When you understand that every being is also an expression of the same divine source, compassion and empathy arise naturally. Judgment and separation lose their grip, and relationships are no longer based on expectation or fear, but on the acknowledgement of a shared spiritual essence. This realization does not remove challenges or responsibilities from life, but it provides a foundation of unwavering stability. You meet difficulties not with resistance or panic, but with clarity and trust in the infinite presence within and around you. Furthermore, the awareness of being a son of God awakens a deeper sense of purpose. Life is no longer about striving for validation or chasing fleeting desires. Every moment becomes an opportunity to align with the divine flow, to express love, creativity, and wisdom in tangible ways. This alignment is effortless because it is simply a return to your natural state, the state you were always meant to inhabit. You discover that the peace, joy, and power you have been seeking externally have always resided within, waiting for you to recognize and embrace them. Innate divinity is the cornerstone of spiritual awakening. It is the realization that you are not a passive participant in life, but a conscious co-creator capable of manifesting the infinite in the physical world. This truth is subtle yet transformative, and once it is experienced, it becomes the lens through which every thought, action, and experience is understood and lived. When you truly grasp what it means to be a son of God, one of the most profound transformations is the freedom from fear that naturally arises. Fear, in all its forms, is rooted in the belief that we are separate, vulnerable, or powerless. It is the mind's way of attempting to protect itself when it perceives danger, scarcity, or uncertainty. Yet, when you awaken to your identity as a child of the divine, you realize that these fears have no ultimate power over you. They are merely thoughts, illusions born from a limited perception of reality, and they dissolve in the light of spiritual awareness. Understanding that your life is anchored in the infinite, that the same source that created the universe flows through you, brings an unshakable sense of security that no external circumstance can undermine. This freedom from fear begins in the mind, but quickly extends to every aspect of life. You no longer react impulsively to challenges or allow anxiety to dictate your decisions. When you encounter situations that once would have caused worry, doubt, or panic, you respond from a place of inner calm and clarity. This is not denial or avoidance, nor is it a passive acceptance of hardship. It is an active recognition that you are supported by a presence far greater than any problem or limitation. You begin to see that fear itself is a signal pointing to where you need to deepen your trust in divine intelligence, rather than a barrier to your well-being. The liberation from fear also transforms your relationships and interactions with the world. When you are not controlled by fear, you are free to act from love, wisdom, and integrity. Communication becomes authentic, and connections are deepened because you are no longer projecting insecurity or judgment onto others. Decisions are made with confidence, and risks are embraced with a sense of assurance that the outcome, regardless of appearance, is part of a greater, harmonious order. This inner freedom allows creativity, intuition, and courage to flourish, revealing potential that was previously hidden behind doubt and hesitation. Moreover, freedom from fear enhances your spiritual practice. Prayer, meditation, or contemplation becomes a space of alignment rather than desperation. You trust that guidance, protection, and provision are always present, and you learn to act in accordance with that truth. Challenges become opportunities to affirm your faith in the divine presence within you rather than threats to your security or happiness. Life begins to flow with ease, not because obstacles disappear, but because your perception shifts. You recognize that true safety and strength are inherent in your spiritual nature, and this realization gradually rewires every response, every thought, and every choice. In this way, understanding what it means to be a son of God removes the grip of fear entirely. It allows you to move through life with confidence, clarity, and courage, anchored in the unchanging truth of your divine identity, and to live in a state of inner peace that no external circumstance can disturb. When you fully understand what it means to be a son of God, you begin to awaken to the infinite potential that resides within you. This potential is not something that can be earned, discovered externally, or limited by circumstance. It is your natural inheritance, flowing from the same divine source that is the origin of all life. To live in this awareness is to recognize that you are not confined by human limitations, societal expectations, or past experiences. Every thought, word, and action becomes a conscious opportunity to express the boundless creative power that has always been yours. This understanding changes the way you perceive both yourself and the world, revealing possibilities where once there seemed to be obstacles. Infinite potential manifests in every aspect of life, though often in subtle ways at first. You begin to notice that ideas, inspirations, and solutions arise spontaneously, guided by an intelligence far greater than your own. Opportunities present themselves naturally, as if life is aligning in response to your inner recognition of divine capability. You no longer struggle against limitations, because you understand that those apparent boundaries are illusions of the mind, not truths of your being. Challenges, rather than being obstacles, are seen as invitations to exercise your creative power and to expand your awareness of what is possible. The more you align with your divine nature, the more your life reflects the endless potential that exists within every moment. This awakening also transforms the way you approach goals, relationships, and personal growth. You no longer measure success by external standards or compare yourself to others. Instead, you act from a place of inner assurance, knowing that your abilities, guided by the infinite, are sufficient for every task and every purpose. You trust the unfolding of life, understanding that each experience is an expression of your potential in action. This trust frees you from fear, hesitation, and self-doubt, and allows you to act with clarity, creativity, and confidence. Infinite potential is not limited to material or external achievements. It encompasses emotional, mental, and spiritual dimensions as well. You discover the ability to transform thoughts, heal relationships, inspire others, and manifest solutions that previously seemed unattainable. The recognition that you are a co-creator with the divine fosters a sense of empowerment that is gentle yet unstoppable. It encourages you to explore, experiment, and express your uniqueness without fear of failure, because you understand that your true nature cannot be diminished by circumstances. In this way, realizing your identity as a son of God reveals that the possibilities for growth, creation, and fulfillment are limitless. Every moment becomes a chance to manifest the divine potential within, transforming your life into a living testament of the infinite power and creativity that flows naturally through your being. When you come to a true understanding of what it means to be a son of God, you naturally begin to live in alignment with universal laws. This alignment is not something to force or learn externally. It is a natural consequence of recognizing your divine identity. To live as a son of God is to know that there is an intelligent order governing all life, a rhythm and law that flows from the infinite source. When you attune yourself to this flow, you find that life moves with ease rather than struggle, that opportunities unfold in their perfect timing, and that your actions are guided by wisdom far beyond the limitations of the human mind. This alignment is the foundation of harmony, abundance, and peace, and it transforms the way you experience the world. Living in alignment with universal laws changes your perspective on challenges and difficulties. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers or threats, you recognize them as part of the larger intelligent order. Every event becomes an opportunity to practice faith, exercise patience, and respond with clarity rather than reaction. The natural laws of love, abundance, and justice are seen as ever present, operating silently but perfectly behind the scenes. By aligning with these principles, you learn to act with integrity and wisdom, trusting that every situation, no matter how complex, is an opportunity for growth and manifestation of the divine. This understanding also impacts the way you interact with others. When you recognize that the same divine law flows through every being, judgment, fear, and resentment naturally diminish. Compassion, empathy, and understanding become your default responses because you see others not as separate or opposed, but as fellow expressions of the infinite. Relationships shift from struggle and expectation to cooperation, mutual respect, and shared purpose. Decisions are no longer driven by fear, scarcity, or ego, but by clarity, insight, and alignment with what is true and harmonious. Alignment with universal laws also opens the door to effortless manifestation. You no longer push against life or try to control outcomes through force or worry. Instead, you act in accordance with the flow of divine law, knowing that your thoughts, intentions, and actions are naturally supported. Creative power, abundance, and peace are no longer distant ideals but the natural outcomes of living in tune with this order. You begin to notice synchronicities, intuitive guidance, and opportunities appearing in perfect timing, demonstrating that life responds to consciousness aligned with the divine. Through this awareness, you live in a state of grace and ease. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance, external pressures, or the chaos of the world. Instead, you move with the rhythm of universal law, confident that your life unfolds in perfect order. This alignment is not a goal to achieve, it is a living experience, a constant expression of your identity as a son of God, and the key to living a life of true freedom, abundance, and peace. When you truly understand what it means to be a son of God, you begin to recognize the manifestation of inner power in every aspect of your life. This power is not external or dependent on material circumstances. It is an inherent force that flows from your divine nature. To live as a son of God is to awaken to the understanding that the creative energy of the universe is not distant or abstract. It is alive within you, available to guide, inspire, and express through every thought, word, and action. This realization transforms the way you approach life, allowing you to act with confidence and clarity, knowing that your true power is rooted in the infinite. This inner power manifests in subtle and profound ways. You discover that your thoughts shape your perception of reality, and that by aligning them with truth and love, you can influence outcomes in ways that once seemed impossible. Your intentions gain strength because they are grounded in a recognition of your spiritual identity rather than in fear, doubt, or external pressures. Decisions become clearer, actions become more effective, and challenges that previously seemed insurmountable are met with a calm assurance born of inner knowing. You are no longer passive in life. You are an active participant, co-creating with the divine intelligence that flows through you. The manifestation of this power also affects your relationships and interactions with the world. When you operate from a place of divine authority within, you inspire trust, respect, and cooperation. You respond to conflict with clarity instead of reaction, and you are able to influence situations through presence and understanding rather than force or manipulation. This power is subtle but unmistakable, creating an environment where harmony and growth become natural outcomes. Others are drawn to the energy of confidence, compassion, and integrity that emerges when one lives from this awareness, demonstrating that true influence comes from alignment with the divine within, not from external control. Inner power also supports creativity, problem-solving, and the realization of your highest potential. You find that ideas, solutions, and inspirations flow effortlessly, as if life itself responds to your alignment with the infinite. You begin to trust the natural unfolding of events, recognizing that the universe works in harmony with your divine nature. This trust frees you from anxiety and struggle, allowing you to act decisively and with faith that your highest good is always supported. Through the recognition of being a son of God, the manifestation of inner power becomes a daily reality. It is the ability to create, transform, and express the divine through your life. This power is not earned, borrowed, or dependent on circumstance. It is your true nature, always present, always available, and capable of transforming every thought, action, and experience into an expression of divine intelligence and love. When you truly understand what it means to be a son of God, one of the most profound experiences that emerges is the deep sense of peace and joy that fills your life. This peace is not dependent on circumstances, achievements, or the opinions of others. It is an inner state that arises naturally from recognizing your divine identity. To live as a son of God is to know that you are inherently connected to the infinite source, and that nothing outside of you can diminish or disturb the wholeness that resides within. This realization brings a calm certainty that surpasses understanding, a serenity that persists even in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties. The joy that accompanies this awareness is equally transformative. It is not a fleeting happiness tied to external events, nor is it contingent upon meeting personal desires or expectations. It is a profound, abiding joy that comes from living in alignment with your true nature. When you recognize yourself as a divine expression of life, you see every moment as an opportunity to experience the abundance, beauty, and love that are your natural inheritance. This joy is spontaneous, effortless, and ever-present, arising from the recognition that life itself is an expression of the divine, and that you are an inseparable part of that expression. Peace and joy also influence your perception of challenges. Difficulties no longer provoke panic, anxiety, or resistance. Instead, they become occasions to deepen trust, exercise discernment, and demonstrate the stability of your inner life. You respond from a place of clarity and balance, knowing that your true self is untouched by circumstance. This does not mean that you ignore practical matters or avoid responsibility. Rather, it means that your actions are guided by a steady, unshakable awareness that you are supported by an infinite presence at all times. This state of inner peace and joy radiates outward, affecting relationships, work, and daily interactions. Others sense the calm confidence and genuine contentment that comes from living in alignment with the divine. Your presence becomes a source of encouragement, inspiration, and reassurance, and you naturally attract experiences and people that reflect this higher vibration. As you continue to cultivate this awareness, your life unfolds with greater ease, harmony, and fulfillment. Ultimately, understanding what it means to be a son of God allows you to live in a state of constant spiritual richness. Peace and joy are not rewards to be earned or goals to be achieved. They are the natural expressions of your true identity. By embracing this truth fully, you experience life from a perspective of abundance, serenity, and love, and every moment becomes an opportunity to embody the eternal harmony and happiness that are your divine birthright. In conclusion, to truly understand what it means to be a son of God is to awaken to a reality that transforms every aspect of your life. It is to recognize your innate divinity, to know that fear no longer holds power over you, and to embrace the infinite potential that flows naturally from your spiritual identity. It is to live in alignment with universal laws, expressing the inner power that has always been yours, and to experience a profound peace and joy that transcends circumstance. This understanding is not an abstract idea or a distant aspiration, it is the very essence of who you are. When you live from this awareness, life itself becomes a reflection of divine intelligence, love, and harmony. Every thought, word, and action resonates with the truth of your being, and the world around you transforms as a natural consequence. To realize your identity as a son of God is to step into a life of freedom, creativity, and unshakable confidence, where miracles, abundance, and fulfillment are not distant dreams, but the natural expression of your divine inheritance. In this awakening, you are not only living, you are radiating the eternal presence of God, and in that, everything changes forever.